Hi, welcome to Papa's Workshop. You know, recently I just did a video on bump stops where I made these to be able to do an additional project. I had a lot of people ask for the file, and I said no because I wanted to make some improvements. I found some flaws in this one and I wanted to correct. So today I'm making the new improved bump stops and I'm going to share this file. Let me show you how I did it. Now these are the existing bump stops that I've already made, and this is going to be the new one. The new one is going to be a little bit longer, and we're going to change some design features that I'm going to show you. But here's one of the problems. In all of the time that I have used these bump stops over the last couple of years, I've always used them with the screws and a washer, or in sometimes just the screw without the washer. I never used them with the actual screw that came from Inventables. Let me grab a smaller one, because what happens when you put this in and screw it down, you actually can't screw it all the way down. It actually hits this section right here and really doesn't get a secure hold on the hold down. So see, it's loose again and then it hits. So that is a design flaw. And the new one, I'm going to narrow this so that this will be able to screw in easily and hold it down. And it's kind of funny that I've never used these until just the other day. And the other thing that I like being able to do is take the bump stop and flipping it over. So this one holds so I don't have any movement left or right on the X or the Y axis, but I can put this right on top, and then I can take another one and screw this down. And now it actually acts as a hold down so it doesn't move out of this spot. And I really like that feature. What I don't like is having all this surface above. So on the new one, I'm going to have it where there's a notch in there. So it will be able to hold on the XY axis, however you place it, as well as being able to hold the material down to the work surface. But that holds really well. So those are the two things that I want to be able to make the correction for. And the third thing is I want to be able to have the ability to screw in another hold down. So I'm going to put in a nut so I can do that as well. So let's get started. This is going to be a two-sided carve. The first thing I'm going to do is put the holes for the nuts on the back side, and then we're going to flip it over and actually carve out the remaining of the hold down. So this is the actual workpiece that we're going to be carving, but I want to be able to carve these two locations for the nuts. This is a little pocket, so I'm going to carve that first on the back side. So I've hit Control C. And now I'm going to go over and open up a new window and hit Control V. And now I have that over where it needs to be. I need to put this over here and change a couple of things real quick. Okay, I have this now exactly the way it is on the other workpiece. And what I need to be able to do is highlight this and get rid of the extra items that I don't want to carve. And all that's going to be left are the two pockets to cut for the nuts. And I'm going to be using a 1/16 of an inch bit to carve this. So let's go ahead and get that done now. To be able to do this actual carving for this small pocket, I did do one test cut prior to this, and I wanted to be able to adjust the size of the pocket to be able to accept this M5 nut. And it took really 2 tests. The first test, it was a little bit too snug, and this second test was just right. And then I went ahead and be able to do the carve. Now, if you choose to do this and use the project, you're going to want to do the same thing. You're going to want to test the nuts that you have because the tolerance may be slightly different. So don't just assume that what worked on my machine with the nuts that I'm using will work on yours. Test it out to make sure. Now, I could have added a drill feature here, but I chose not to. Just decided to take it over to the drill press. Okay, now that my pocket is created for the nut that will go in there, I'm going to go ahead now, loosen this, and the bottom one still holds it directly in place. So there's no movement, and my XY 0 point is still going to be right there. We're just going to take this, flip it over, and slide it back in, and then I'm going to tighten this down again. The other thing that we're going to be doing, we're going to be using an 1/8 inch bit. So I'm going to go ahead and change that now, and we'll get ready to carve. Now this started out at 40 inches per minute, and I do have the camera speeded up 2 times, so don't worry about that part. But I went ahead and increased the speed on the feed rate to where it was 80 inches per minute, and it still was carving just fine. So again, I did this in small increments to see how the material and machine would work. Okay, this is all finished. That will slide back. That slides out. Now I used tabs this time, so I'm going to go ahead and cut those tabs, and we'll be able to sand it and clean it up a little bit. The other thing, I'm going to go ahead, I could have done a drill operation, but I chose not to. I'm just going to go ahead and drill the holes in for this. And here's the finished bump stop. I went ahead and inserted the 2 nuts. They fit perfectly. And I just briefly, very lightly sanded this, so it's in good shape and ready to be able to use. I really like to be able to use the bump stops because it makes it where I can just take the new piece and slide it in, and it makes setup very easy. What I don't like is on the old one is when I had to clamp up here, or when I used one of the other clamps and it was too short and I couldn't get to where I needed to clamp it. Then I'd have to relocate everything, and sometimes it just didn't work depending on the size of the project. With this new one, with this groove right here, I can actually flip that over, and that acts as a good hold down, and now I can just screw that into place with the existing holes right there, and that works extremely well. So I really like that new feature. The other thing that I like is being able to use these nuts to be able to hold down. So if I have a hold down here, and that's being held into place, I'm just going to temporarily put that in, but there's no additional screw holes in this area. I can still flip that over and be able to use a hold down and be able to secure it, and that is nice. Now this having the groove here, I'm going to go ahead and just take that off because it's not doing any good with that void. But this makes it where it adds another level of functionality to my bump stop. So let me get rid of this for a second. We'll slide that out of the way, and let's say that's pushed into place. Let's screw this into place. And now that holds it, but it doesn't hold it down. It'll still move up and down. I can put this up here, screw this into place, and that gives me one additional hold down that I didn't have before. So there's some features that I really like about this, and I'm sure there's going to be some other options that I find as time goes along. But give this bump stop a try, and I'm going to go ahead and include this in that same file so that you'll have the old one. Just remember that there were some problems that I did run across on that. But this worked very, very well. So I'm going to go ahead and post this to the Inventables project so that you can download it for free. And I'm going to make some more of these for my own shop. I think they turned out real good. Bump stops are like clamps. You never have too many. Hi everyone. Thank you for watching my video today. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell next to it so you'll be notified on the different videos that I upload. Also, check out the videos over here to be able to stay up to date on the happenings in my shop. So again, thank you for watching my videos.